Good morning. Welcome to Wednesday morning gentle yoga. Go ahead and make a quick adjustment to my computer to make sure that we have good enough vision and we're set to go. Excellent. It looks like you have a complete view of my body. So I'll just do one more slight adjustment. There we have it. Complete view to start our morning yoga. I'm going to allow Miss Mooney to stay with us this morning because she's being pretty mellow. We'll see if she continues to behave. Oh, sit down. Sit. 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 So I am going to invite you to take easy seated pose with me. I'm sitting up on my bolster this morning. And this week, all of our classes are centered around Muladhara, the root chakra. This is the first of our classes in the chakra series. And the root chakra is at the very base of the spine. The color of the root chakra is red. And that chakra is our connection to the earth. And I would like you, while you're sitting in Sukhasana, to imagine that in the center of the earth, there is a glowing red crystal. Think of it as pulsating and glowing like the heartbeat of the center of our earth. And imagine that from the base of your spine is this golden cord being formed, a root, a golden root, if you will, and it's reaching down and connecting with that pulsating and glowing red crystal. And imagine that part of your body, at the base of your spine, that chakra is also glowing red. And so as you sit here and close your eyes and begin to breathe, I want you to continue to think of that connection, your connection to the earth. And as you breathe in, I want you to bring that red energy, that connection to the earth, I want you to bring it all the way up to the crown of your head. And as you exhale, I want you to descend that breath all the way down to meet the earth. Inhaling all the way up. Exhaling all the way down. Inhaling all the way up. Pause at the top. And exhale all the way down. One more inhale. And then exhale down. Let's go ahead, if you're sitting on a bolster or a block, you can continue to if you want to, but it's easier for the next portion where we're going to forward fold and begin to open up the space on the back of our hips. I want you to inhale your hands up and then exhale them down and out. Inhale up. Exhale out and down. And then inhale up. I think that sign is coming in, but let me make sure. Yeah, more. Inhale up. Exhale down. And then taking your block, so let me grab my blocks. I forgot to grab them. Taking your block, I'd like you to inhale up into the air. And then exhale your block down and push it forward on the floor in front of you. And just push it as far as feels good to you. But this should be encouraging quite an opening of the back of your right hip. And by keeping your body high off the ground with the block high off the ground, you are centering on just that part of the hip, opening up just that part without involving having to stretch anything else, and you could just focus on that. And just breathe deeply, continuing to remember that connection. One more inhale. And then exhale, bring your block back. Switch your feet. For me, I'm going to move my right foot behind my left foot. So my right foot is close to the inside of my left leg and groin. My right leg is rather, and my left leg is in front on the outside. Inhale your block up. And then on the exhale, place your block on the floor and push it forward. Focusing on stretching out that space in the back of your left hip. One more inhale. And then exhale backwards, bringing that block back. And you can place it on the side. One of the consequences of having my dog join me for yoga is that now there's hair on my mat. All right, place your left hand on the floor. And on the inhale, bring your right hand out to the side and bring your right arm alongside your right ear. And start to lean to the left, bringing your arm with you. You can curl it if you want to, or you can leave it up high, whatever encourages you to have a nice long stretch all along your right side body, tacking your right hip down to the floor as you start to pull your right shoulder back and shine your heart center up towards the ceiling. And as you grow in your breath, be pulling the crown of your head also in the same direction as your hand. One more inhale. And on the exhale, drop your right hand to the floor. Inhale, bring your left arm out and over, alongside your left ear, tacking your left hip down to the earth, slightly pulling your left shoulder back to expose your heart center up to the ceiling. Drawing the crown of your head in the same direction as your left hand. One more inhale. And then exhale, bring that back. We're going to go ahead into cat-cow. So let's move into tabletop. When you arrive at tabletop, take a moment to consider your alignment. So you can see that my back is quite straight. It's not swaying down. So you achieve this by pulling your belly button into the spine, pulling your shoulders back away from your ears and down your spine. And your tailbone is slightly tilted down. On the inhale, I want you to raise up your your hips, pull your shoulders further back and down, moving your heart center forward. And then on the exhale, I want you to reverse that, pulling your spine up to the ceiling, allowing your chin to drop to your chest. Inhale, pull your shoulders back, pull your heart center through, pull your hips up. And then on the exhale, reverse all of that, pulling your spine up towards the ceiling. Inhale, pull your shoulders back, pull your hips up, opening up the throat. And then on the exhale, pull your spine up to the ceiling. Let's do that one more time. Inhale, our heart center up, hips up, pulling our shoulders back and down. And then exhale, reverse that into cat. Very nice. Go ahead and keep your large toes together, your big toes together as you widen your hips, sitting back on your heels, moving forward into child's pose. And in child's pose, focus on the breath. Focus again on that connection that we have with the earth, that golden cord connecting our root chakra to this glowing red crystal in the center of the earth. One more inhale. And exhale. Go ahead and rise back up to tabletop. And go ahead and lay down on your right side. You can lay with your arms extended out, your right arm extended out above you. And you have your arm out above you. Your whole right side is tacked to the floor. Your left hip is tacked to the floor. And what I want you to do, you can keep your right leg bent or you can have it straight, but reach behind you and grab your left leg. And go ahead and just try dancer's pose by pushing your left hip forward as you pull your left foot back using your left hand. You can also place it on the inside of the foot if that's easier for you. But this allows us to have a nice, gentle opening of our left, front of our left hip. So those psoas, and also begin to stretch out our left quadricep muscle. So the more you push your leg back, so I'm not pulling it, I'm actually pushing it back, the more you are strengthening the muscles of your lower back, which is going to help you in many, many ways, and the more you are stretching out that quadricep muscle. And just keep on pushing backwards and experiencing that sensation. One more inhale. And then exhale. You can go ahead and let that down. Go ahead and sit up using the strength of your arms. Push up with your left hand. Go ahead and move your legs to the other side. And then lay down. Again, laying on your arm. So your arm is outstretched above your head. My knees are bent. You can have your lower leg straight if that works for you, or you can have it bent, whatever works for you. You might have to tinker around with this a little bit to find the right position for your hip. My outside of my hips tend to be actually a little bony. It doesn't seem like it because I'm pretty muscular and curvy in my hips, but I can feel bone here on the outside, so I sometimes have to mess with mine a little bit to find the right position that feels comfortable. Okay, so go ahead and lift up your right leg. Grab your right hand either on the top and back, or you can grab it underneath. And then just start to push my right hip forward as I bring my right leg back. It's actually, sure, it's engaging that quadricep muscle, and it's creating a stretch along the front of your hip and along that entire hamstring.
but, or quadricep, I'm sorry, but it should feel good to create this little mini arch in the back, engaging those muscles of the sacrum and of your lower spine in this way. When we push the muscles of our lower spine in, we are strengthening them actually. So you can push both of your hips forward to even make that feel even better and more balanced. So for people that have SI joint disorder, might have hypermobility in the joint, this might feel very, very good to you and help keep those joints in proper positioning. Very good. Go ahead and inhale. And then exhale, you can let that down. Very, very nice. And let's now move into rolling onto our belly. Go ahead and inhale up into low cobra. And then exhale back down. Inhale up. And then exhale back down. And when you inhale up, inhale your shoulders up to your ears and wrap them down on your back as you're rising up. Very nice. One more inhale up. And then exhale, lift up your hips high in the air. So we're moving back up into tabletop, but leave your hips high in the air as you extend your arms forward for puppy dog. So this is a bit of a counter pose to what you were doing before. So keeping your hips high up in the air so we're not dropping back into child's pose. We are indeed stretching out our entire body as if we were in downward facing dog. So you're allowing your heart center to draw towards the floor. You're pulling your shoulders back and away from your ears and pulling your shoulder blades together. And I have my forehead on the floor. You can have your face on the floor, your chin, whatever works for you. One more inhale. And then on the exhale, go ahead and rise back up. And we're going to go into, I always end up calling it a modified plank for you guys, but I'm going to give you the Sanskrit name right now. And the Sanskrit name for that pose, oh, isn't that funny? I wrote it down and then I accidentally erased it. Well, that's okay. I can't even remember. It's Ardha Malanasana, I think. That's what it is. It's Ardha Malanasana. So we're going to do that. So go ahead and place your right foot out in front of you. And then you're going to place your left hand to the left of your left leg. Take your hand either up or over and push your hips forward slightly so that you have your whole body in alignment. So we're really focusing not on strengthening. I mean, you are kind of pushing up into your hip as you move your hips forward, but mostly you're stretching out. And then I want you to kind of open up your heart center. And allow your heart to shine up. One more inhale. And then on the exhale, go ahead and rise up on your left knee. And then go ahead and tilt your hands down as we stretch towards our right leg, pulling our right hand towards the direction of our right foot, curling on the left side. Ah, doesn't that feel really, really nice? And we can go back and forth. So rise up, hands into like the position of warrior two, right? So first go to the left, stretch it out, bringing your right arm alongside your right ear, keeping your right foot tapped on the floor.
And then exhale, rise up into warrior two arms. Tilt your hands down. Right hand on the inside of the right leg. As you curl your left hand over, stretching out your left side. Let's do that one more time. Left hand to the floor, right hand overhead, right arm alongside the right ear. And then on the exhale, rise up. Place your right hand on the floor on the inside of your right leg. And bring your left hand alongside your left ear. Wow, that feels so good. Go ahead and rise up again, warrior two arms. Bring your right knee in to join your left knee. And let's go ahead and place our hands on our backs as if we're going into camel. We are going into a modified camel. I want you to keep your hands, fingers pointed down to the earth, palms pressed into your lower back. So not pressing hard, but firm contact. Pull your elbows together as much as you can on your spine. Rise your chest up on the inhale. Rising, rising, rising as if you have a string coming down from the ceiling, pulling your chest up. And then exhale, go ahead and open up the throat and curl back slightly. Exhale, bring it up, sit back down, fold forward into a child's pose with your hands on the ground alongside your legs. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, rise up. Place your hands, fingertips down. Go ahead, move your hips slightly forward as you bring your chest center up, pulling your elbows together in the back, pulling your heart center up to the ceiling. And then exhale, go ahead and sit back down on your legs. Drop over your thighs, dropping your forehead to the floor. And let's rise up one more time. Palms of our hands against our sacroiliac joints, fingers pointing down, pulling our elbows together as we rise our heart center up to the ceiling, lifting out of the lower spine as we push our hips forward slightly. And then exhale, sit back down and lay over your thighs. Go ahead and rise back up. All of your weight shifted to your right knee. Take your left foot out to the front of the mat or the side of your mat, whichever orientation you are on your mat. I'm on this round mat, so I'm not a very good example. But what I am going to do is turn my body slightly so that you can see the positioning. And then I'm going to go ahead and place my right leg or my right arm, right hand on the floor, bring my left hand overhead, and bring it alongside my left ear, pulling my hips slightly forward to increase that stretch. And reaching, reaching, reaching to the right with my left hand, keeping my left foot tacked onto the floor, opening up my heart center so that it is shining out. Inhale, rise up into warrior two arms. Tilt your left hand down. Might feel different on this side. Bringing your right hand up and overhead in the same direction as your left foot. Beautiful stretch all along the right hand side. One more inhale, and then exhale. Bring your hands up to warrior two arms, tilt back down, right hand to the floor, left hand to the ceiling, and then bring it overhead alongside your left ear. Gorgeous stretch all along the left side. One more inhale, and then exhale. Rise up, Tilt your left hand down to the floor. Bring your right hand overhead, opening up your heart center as you tilt to the left, stretching out your whole left side. And then exhale. Back up to warrior two arms again. Drop your right hand to the floor. Bring your left arm alongside your left ear, pulling your head and your hand to the right as you stretch out your left side. And then rise up into warrior two arms, and then drop your left hand, bringing your right arm alongside your right ear, curling to the left. Making sure you breathe. One more inhale, and then exhale, rise back up. Bring our knees together. I'm moving back a little bit on my mat so I have space. And then let's go back down into that puppy dog pose. And go ahead and stretch out our whole front of the body. Breathing deeply through the belly and through the nose. One more inhale. And then on the exhale, I want you to just lift your arms up a little bit into tabletop. Bring your elbows down against your ribs as you move forward, dropping your chin and your chest to the floor. So you're an inchworm right now. My hips are high up in the air. My chin and my chest are to the floor. And then I'm going to bring those through, laying down on my belly. And placing my elbows underneath for Sphinx pose. So in Sphinx pose, what we're focusing on, again, is that same motion I told you about earlier, where we're curling up the spine, pushing our hips into the earth as we pull our shoulders back and down and away from our ears. And by doing so, we are activating all of the muscles along the spine, from our lumbar through the thoracic portions of the spine. This is really, really good for the spine. So if there's any exercise you want to do on a daily basis to make your back feel better, well, trust me, this is one of those exercises. Go ahead and go back down. Take your hands, place them in front of your shoulders, so kind of out in front of you, and just push up straight arms. So your arms are at an angle. You can even have your hands out a little bit further in front of you, but that increases that arch in the lower back. Be sure to pull your shoulders down and away from your ears. One more inhale. Exhale, drop that down. And let's go ahead and move back into tabletop position. Move back again into puppy dog pose. And drop our chest to the floor as we reach our hands forward. One more inhale. And then exhale, rise up. And go ahead and bring your right foot forward into a modified lunge. So we stay up high on our knee and rise up, having our right hand on top of our right knee. So everything is in a 90 right now. Our right knee is 90 degrees. Our ankle is 90 degrees to the floor. Our left knee is also at a 90-degree angle. If you want to increase that stretch, and I'm going to encourage that actually, I want you to take your blocks and just kind of lean into it. So rise up high with your blocks, then place them where you want them. Up by your feet is good. And then if you want to, you can make some adjustments to both of your legs to allow you to fall in between those blocks, moving your hips forward. But what I want you to make sure you're doing is applying equal movement. So don't open up the hips to the left. You want your left hip to be moving at the same rate as your right hip. So if you have to tap your right hip back a little bit, do that. You shouldn't need to, actually. The gravity kind of takes care of things for you. When you're up on your blocks like this, you're allowing your chest center to remain high, and just concentrate that stretch all along the front of your left hip. You will feel a pinch on the front of your right hip, and that's okay. And just breathe into that sensation. One more inhale. And then exhale, using the strength of your leg and your hip. Move your hip backwards in space. So you're not using your right leg to pull you back. You're using your left hamstring to pull you back. And then go ahead and allow your toes to curl off the floor as we move into a runner stretch. You might move your blocks back. I want you to stay up good and high. So right now, I would say that my body is at a little bit tighter than a 90-degree angle. As I move my right hip back, I have my left heel or my right heel tapped into the floor, and my toes are facing the ceiling. And I am just focusing on stretching out the back of my right hamstring. And it can feel intense. It's the first good stretch of the day on the back of the leg. Inhale. Exhale. Now let's go back into that lunge again. So moving forward now, allowing my foot to fall back on the floor, high up on the blocks, shoulders back and down, and away from my ears, and just focusing on the stretch of the front of that hip. On the left side, a little bit of a pinch of the right hip on the right side. That's all okay. And then on your exhale, go ahead and move your hips backwards in space, allowing your toes to peel off the floor. Move your blocks back if you need to. And then as you descend towards your right leg, your chest is still quite high in the air, but the sensation you're going for is that you're drawing your chest down towards your leg as you pull your right hip backwards in space. I don't want you to feel this in the lower spine, so it's very important that you keep your chest up high. One more inhale. And then exhale, go ahead and move your blocks forward. Lean back into that lunge again. Breathing calmly. Even in, even out. Inhale. And then on the exhale, move your hips back in space, peeling your toes off the floor, keeping your heel in contact with the floor as you pull your hips back. Chest is up high, but the sensation you're going for is drawing your heart center down towards your leg. As you pull your right hip back, you should feel quite an intense stretch along the back side of your hamstring, and you might especially feel it up high where it inserts into the piriformis, and you might feel it intensely on the back of your knee. And where you feel that intensity, that is your edge, and you could stop there. Okay, let's go ahead and go back into the modified lunge. You can be lean forward into the lunge, or you can be up high. The choice is yours. Go ahead and place your hands at heart center. Inhale. And then on the exhale, let's go ahead and take a twist. So place your left knee on the outside of your left leg. Push your hands together as you look over your right shoulder. One more inhale. And then exhale, go ahead and grab your blocks again, using the strength of your hips moving backwards and the use of your hamstring. pull your right foot back so that you bring your right knee back to join your left knee. Then take your left leg forward, same as before. Your knee is up high. If you rise up, you will see I've got a 90-degree angle of my leg on top, 90-degree on the bottom. I'm grabbing my blocks now, and I'm starting to lean into that lunge. And I'm creating space to make that happen by pulling my left leg forward. You do whatever you need to do. You might find it's easier to pull one leg back other than one leg forward. But once you arrive, you're pulling your left hip back as you pull your right hip forward to keep them square. And you move your blocks, adjust them in such a way, you saw what I did. I brought them back so that my hands are more underneath my shoulders, and I can pull my shoulder blades together on my spine and pull my shoulders away from my ears. And that allows the space for me to sink into this lunge, opening up my right hip. My right hip is always more tight than my left on the front, and my left is always more open on the back side than the right hip. Okay, going ahead and moving backwards in space. So pulling our hips backwards, allowing our toes to peel off the floor, keeping our heel tacked to the floor. Move your blocks back slightly so that you can have those shoulder blades back on your spine. And then start to pull, as you're pulling your left hip back, start bringing your torso with your heart center raised towards that left leg. Breathing evenly, breathing gently. Remember, this is our gentle yoga. One more inhale. And then exhale, go ahead and allow your foot to descend to the floor, moving forward into that lunge, rising up your heart center, pulling your blocks back so that they're underneath your shoulders to allow that space. And then on the exhale, go ahead and move your hips back in space, allowing your toes to peel off the floor, keeping your left heel on the floor. As you straighten out your left leg, pulling your left hip back, increasing that stretch all along the back of your left hamstring. Keeping your chest up high so that this stretch is not in your lower back. You want it really along your left leg. Go ahead and move your blocks forward again. Move forward into that lunge, pulling your shoulders back and down. Now, I just heard one of my cats. I guess they returned. And then inhale. And then on the exhale, move your hips back in space. Keeping your chest high, pull those blocks underneath your shoulders so that your shoulder blades can be placed firmly on your back. Toes are now facing the ceiling. That's very good. Go ahead and go back to that modified lunge that we were in, where you're good and high. Rise up, hands in prayer, inhale. And then on the exhale, tack your right elbow on the outside of your left knee and push your hands together as you engage a gentle twist, looking out over your left shoulder. One more inhale. And then exhale. Go ahead and return back to your blocks. Bring your left foot back to join your right foot. You can move your blocks aside now. And go ahead back into that puppy dog pose. Hips high up in the air as you reach your hands forward. One more inhale. Fully exhale. Rise up. Place your left hand in the center of the mat and take your right hand up to the ceiling. And then on the exhale, lay down across your right shoulder as you thread your right arm underneath your left arm. Stretching out the muscles of your back of your shoulder. Maybe you're creating a gentle stretch in the neck. Looking to the left. One more inhale. And then exhale, rise up. Be careful as you do that you don't compromise your left shoulder. Place your right hand out in front of you. On the inhale, bring your left hand up in space. And then on the exhale, thread it underneath your right arm and lay down on your left shoulder, creating a gentle stretch along the outside of your left arm and shoulder, and stretch along the left side of your neck. Go ahead and rise up, watching that right shoulder. Return back to tabletop. Go ahead and sit back on your legs. So let's just sit here for just a moment, bringing some synovial fluid to your knee joints. Maybe stretching out the front of your ankle a little bit. It can be a little intense, so we're not going to stay here very long. And then you can lean one side to the other so that you are firmly on your sits bones. And go ahead and have your feet out in front of you, sitting in staff pose. So in staff pose, this is really just like Tadasana, where we have our shoulders pulled back and down, shoulders stacked over our hips, and just sitting here, engaging our core muscles, our side waist, all the solar plexus muscles, pulling our shoulders back and down. This alone is a strengthening pose. If you find it difficult to keep this position, you can slightly bend your legs. That helps. Some people just haven't developed the strength of the hip flexors yet to maintain this without engaging the lower back. You don't want to be rounded in this because that's not helping you develop that strength. You want to be sitting up good and tall. Sometimes people find it difficult to do that, so you can also take a little blanket. Let me take my Mexican blanket here. You can fold up a blanket, and you can sit on that blanket if you want to, and train your body that way. So as you can see, I'm sitting on the forward edge of the blanket, allowing my pelvis bowl to shift down slightly. So that's another way that you can begin to train those muscles to all engage when you're sitting in this position. And you will feel this in your back, and you will feel this in your core muscles, and you will feel this in your side muscles. And what's important is that over time, you're developing that proper alignment so you are engaging the proper muscles. So, but you can definitely use props to train you to do that and to develop that strength and have safety in that position. Inhale your hands up, and then exhale. Start to fall over your legs. You can see that my arms are pretty high up in space. In the morning, my body is not very open. So I'm honoring that by just moving forward. I feel a stretch all along here and the backs of my thighs. But I'm keeping my back neutral. As you can see, my back is not curled over. It is up high and neutral. And that's okay. The engagement needs to be moving forward, not down, but forward. And as you move forward, you start to stretch out all those hamstring muscles. You can even place your hands on top of your feet Pull your toes towards you, bending your elbows, and pulling yourself forward that way. But don't pull too hard. Just by doing that, I engaged a lot of stretching along the backs of my thighs. Inhaling and exhaling gently. Inhale, sit up. Take your right leg and cross it over your left leg. You can stay like this with your leg extended, or you can curl your foot underneath your right hip if you want to. Go ahead and hug your right knee against your body. So I'm wrapping my left arm around my knee and I'm hugging it very, very, very tightly as I look out over my right shoulder. So a lot of times you will see this gentle seated twist such that you keep your foot on the floor and you put your left arm on the outside of your right leg and you engage your twist that way. And that certainly is a very effective twist. But this one feels especially good because we are concentrating on hugging our knee to the body, which then allows a nice stretch all on the outside of that right hip. In a society where we spend so much time sitting for our jobs, it's really nice to do things that take good care of the hips. Because all of those hip muscles become weakened with all those hours of sitting. And when your hip muscles are weakened, your back muscles are also weakened. So it's really important that you get out of those chairs actually and walk around a lot and do things. Now let's go ahead into the traditional spinal twist. Place our right hand on the floor behind us. Take our left arm on the outside of our knee. And feel the difference in that twist now that you've opened up that hip. Pulling our right shoulder back, pulling the crown of our head high up to the ceiling, and twisting our entire body in unison. These kinds of twists stimulate the kidneys, stimulate your digestive organs. So twists are very important. They also help remove a lot of stress. Go ahead and return forward, placing our right foot in front, left foot in front. Return back to that staff pose. See how it might feel different now that you stretched out your right side. It may feel like a stronger pose actually because you've created more space. Yoga is all about creating space. Take your left leg, cross it over your right. If you want to leave your foot straight in front of you, your right foot straight in front, you can, or you can curl it underneath by bending your right knee. Go ahead and hug that right knee to your chest. Just enjoying that gentle stretch and looking out over your left shoulder. Hugging tightly. Increasing that stretch all along your left hip. It feels really, really delightful. Then go ahead and place your left foot on the floor. Take your right elbow, tacking it on the outside of your right knee, or your left knee, I'm sorry. And then engaging in the twist by placing your left hand behind you. And the same thing, returning your entire body in unison as you engage in that twist. And this twist may feel more open now because you've created space in the hip. Remember to draw the crown of your head high to the ceiling as you draw your left shoulder back. The whole body is turned in unison. Inhale. And then exhale, turn forward. Go ahead and place You legs out in front of you again. Oh, feel how that feels. Another thing that you want to be careful for in staff pose is that you're not just leaning forward. You really want to engage those abdominal muscles by sitting up nice and tall, creating kind of an even 90 degrees with your hips and your torso. Go ahead and do that forward fold again. Inhale our hands up in the air. And then exhale, lean forward. See if it feels different this time. It may feel the same, it may feel different. With a little bit of now opening in the lower spine and the hips, you might feel more open. Again, moving the heart center forward instead of down. Feeling this stretch along the back of it. On the inhale, go ahead and rise up. Bend your legs. And before we head into our final Shavasana, we're going to just do a little bit of a modified Navasana boat pose. So go ahead and place your hands either on your knees or underneath your thighs and just lean backwards, pulling your shoulder blades back with you, pulling your shoulders away from your ears, leaning your entire body back, moving your crown back, the back of your head back in unison or in alignment with your shoulders. So you should feel all of your abdominal muscles firing off, but you have the safety of your hands underneath your hamstrings, underneath your thighs. Inhale, and then exhale, lean over your legs. Just stretching out the muscles, allowing your abdominal muscles to relax. Go ahead and rise up, lean back. Firing off all those abs. And then rise up. And go ahead and fold over your legs. And go ahead and inhale, sitting up tall. Exhale, lean back. Hands on the back of the thighs. As you lean your entire body back, pulling your shoulder blades together on your spine. Inhale, rise up. Let's go ahead and lay down on our backs. And then I want you to raise your hips or your legs up so that your shins are parallel to the floor. And you might need to move your thighs slightly forward to engage your abdominal muscles. If you have your legs back like this, they're up in the air, but nothing's happening here with the abs. You need to move them a little bit away from the body to engage those muscles. And then I want you to place your hands behind your head, pull your elbows out to the side, pull your shoulder blades together, and just kind of pulse up, engaging all of your abdominal muscles. Gentle, keep your whole back in contact with the floor. You're just rising and lowering your shoulders. You're keeping your shins parallel to the floor. You're keeping your knees away from the body. And then let's start to go across the body. So left hand to the left and to right, right hand to the left. And just alternating those. So there's a lot of ab firing going on right now. Just breathe your way through it. One more to the left, one more to the right, and then go ahead and pulse up again. Let's do 10 more. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring your knees to your chest. Hug them tightly. Go ahead and place your head on the floor. Place your feet on the floor, wide apart. And let's just windshield wiper your legs. So you're allowing your right leg to drop in as you bring your left leg out. Left knee drops down as your right knee comes out. Just gentle movement back and forth. And then let's drop our left knee and our right knee all the way to the left. So our legs are apart, our feet are apart. We're drawing our right knee, the inside towards the floor. It's not touching the floor on this side, and even my left knee is not actually touching the floor. But I am kind of creating a stretch and a gentle twist at the same time. One more inhale. And then exhale, bring your knees up to the ceiling and drop them to the other side. Drawing your left knee on the inside down to the floor as you allow your right knee to drop to the right. Again, you're not touching the floor. That's not the point. The point is creating a gentle stretch along the hips and a gentle twist for the spine at the same time. One more inhale. And then exhale, bring it all back. And let's make our way into Shavasana. Let's first start by placing the soles of our feet together in bound angle pose, Baddha Konasana. And just lay here for a moment. I've pulled my shoulder blades a little bit together on the floor to create space for my upper back and my neck. So right now there's a bit of an arch in my lower back because my feet are together. It's encouraging that arch. And that actually feels good. Sometimes I encourage this at the beginning of moving into Shavasana. We've done a little bit of lower back work today. We've done abdominal work today. So it starts to help those lower back muscles relax. And it allows the hips to gently open. And then go ahead and make your way into full Shavasana by straightening out your legs in front of you, allowing your thighs to gently fall open, allowing your toes and feet to fall open. Take the time to scan the body. Examine your breath as it moves up and down your spine and look for any areas where you may feel stuck. And let's start drawing attention to specific areas of the body. So on your inhale, focus on your feet. On the exhale, focus on relaxing your toes, your ankles, the arches of your feet, the tops of your feet. On your next inhale and exhale, focus on your calves and your shins and your knees, relaxing all of those muscles. Inhale. And on the exhale, draw attention to your thighs, to your hips. Inhale. And on the exhale, draw attention to your lower belly and all of your core muscles, your lower back, relaxing all of those muscles. Inhale. And on the exhale, draw your attention to your shoulders and to your arms. Hands are pointed towards the ceiling. Fingers are open, slightly curled, no tension at all. Inhale. And on the exhale, draw attention to your neck muscles, your jaw. Relax the jaw as much as you can.
Just enjoy this savasana. Let's do one more inhale. And on the exhale, relax all the muscles of your face. And as you lay here, I'm going to play you some gentle music. Stephen put together a nice playlist for me. So I have some music that is in frequency of the root chakra.
I invite you to now join me by coming back into the present moment, coming out of from wherever you've drifted off to in your state of deep relaxation in Savasana. Go ahead and roll over to one side or the other. Curl into a ball. Using the strength of your arms, go ahead and rise up. And join me in a seated position. Bring your hands up overhead on your inhale. Exhale your hands out and down. Inhale your hands up. Exhale your hands down. Inhale your hands up. Exhale your hands to Ajna, the space between your eyebrows, your third eye. Exhale to your heart center. Bow your head. The light in me sees the light in you. The yogi in me honors the yogi in you. Thank you for joining me this morning. Namaste.
Have a beautiful rest of your day.